All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. Today I've got the special guest. I kind of threw it on him. I said, hey, John, let's get you on the show. But you guys, this is John with ISSA. He is the Director of Government Affairs. And why I'm bringing him on in this scenario is you guys have all been seeing in my post and seeing everything that I got coming with an event in Washington, D.C. Why would I pick Washington, D.C.? Why is it the end of March? Here's one of those reasons why, and I'm going to let John dig into it. But as you guys will see, ISSA is holding a cleaning advocacy summit. It's National Cleaning Week that week. But I wanted the chance, John, to bring you on and let people hear from you on what is this event about? Why are we doing it back to back? I'm excited about it. DC is beautiful for people that haven't been there. But yeah, man, normally, you've heard the show. It's about bringing people on to speak on cleaning. And in this case, very specific, talking about events and the ISSA in the cleaning industry. Because for those who don't know who ISSA is, you should. And here's another little reason and nugget why you should know. So John, again, I know I threw this on you. I'm talking like morning of here, guys. But I'm excited. John, tell us a little bit about yourself. And let's just jump into it, my man. Thank you so much again.
Yeah, thanks, Ricky, for having me. Cheers. And really want to thank you for bringing me on. Yeah, there you go.
Cheers. You guys, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Always, everywhere.
Always. So I'm with ISSA. I've been with the association since 2019 to build out our government affairs efforts. And really what that means is we are the front lines, kind of talking about the cleaning industry, the importance of cleaning, and advocating for policies that we try to say help the worldwide cleaning industry to thrive. So, we're on Capitol Hill, meeting with elected officials, EPA, FDA, Department of Labor, and as well as all 50 states. So we are kind of your front line of defense when various issues pop up. And so that's why we're really excited to be bringing, your group and Cleaning and Cocktails to DC as part of that. So we're really looking forward to that event, and ISSA is really happy to partner with your group. This is only the second year that we've been able to actually have our event in person. So it's kind of a new thing for us, but we're really excited to kind of storm Capitol Hill and really go up there and kind of talk about the issues that matter to our industry.
Nice, man. John, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the kind words. You guys, when he presented this, I think this was, what, John, like right after ISSA Chicago, I think we had that conversation of, hey, yeah, you knew you were going already. We knew we wanted to have another event. And again, we're going to dig deeper into this, you guys, but like when they started to tell me exactly what they were trying to do with, going to Capitol Hill and speaking to your constituents, John, why, for those that listen, a lot of small business owners, right? Why should a cleaning small business owner care about attending the event? Not just even Cleaning Cocktails, more so this event that leads into it. Like, what is it that we're going to go to Capitol Hill about? And what's the agenda going to look like from a cleaning business owner perspective?
Well, I think those are kind of two questions. I'll take the first one is why is it important to really go speak with your elected officials from a cleaning industry standpoint? And I mean, we don't have to go too far back. 2020 was a crazy year, especially for the industry. We thought one of the things that ISSA was really kind of working across the country on was to make sure that our entire supply chain of the cleaning industry was deemed essential. We were, going from governor's office to governor's office and the federal government to lobby. And that was only being able to be done because our members rose up, emailed, called, met with their elected officials on that to ensure that it's, obviously we all understand that cleaning is essential, but it was the different aspects of it. It might be the truck driver who's got the product that you need to actually disinfect the space. So that was kind of a real world experience. I think it raised the awareness for a lot of our member companies and a lot of the cleaning industry. Another aspect of that, the PPP program, which I'm sure a lot of our small businesses took advantage of. That first iteration did not include cleaning related services as being a qualified expense. So we were able to, once again, with the help of voices like yours and other companies, be able to make that point. And that second iteration, they were able to go back and we got language in there to say, hey, cleaning and disinfecting, both the purchase of product as well as services, should be covered as a qualified expense. So that's kind of two examples of historically how our voice as being small business owners has really been able to make that case on Capitol Hill and throughout the industry. So kind of moving forward to this year, we're going to be meeting, talking about a lot of different issues. Sustainability is a huge issue, green cleaning. Going to be talking about obviously labor issues, the labor markets being so tight as they are. So that'll be one of our asks, is to try to figure out, hey, how can we get policies that'll help free up more labor for our industry? Tariffs is another issue we'll be meeting on. While that doesn't impact necessarily the cleaning service provider as directly, but that's just another expense in terms of when you're trying to buy a product, whether it's a mop or broom or a chemical product or paper product, all that's being added on the price of those materials that you have to use to maintain healthy and clean spaces. So those are two of the issues that we'll be kind of meeting on and talking about, but there's a whole host of other issues obviously impacting the industry.
So that was a lot right there, guys. We're gonna have notes on that. But John, think about it. I know, being a business owner, we're wearing so many hats. We're so focused on our, in our bubble, in our area, in our city, in our region, in our office, that I do feel like forget sometimes that there's a lot that's going on in the background, right? And ISSA, I would see it, right? I'd see the emails come in, I'd fill out the surveys, and I knew there's a reason why you guys are asking all these things and what you guys are bringing to the table. And again, that's why I'm excited to team up with you guys, because this is the stuff that people don't like to talk about and spend time on, right? Is the stuff that you guys are in the forefront of working on. So I do challenge people to take the time out, carve out, some time, it's only 2 days, it's 4 days total with our event, where what you guys are going to learn and what I'm going to sit in and learn with you guys too, John, is things that I just would not talk about with my own team, right? Which we should, though. I mean, again, a little bit, even the nuggets that we're going to learn and take away. These are the things, if we don't all raise up and kind of do it together, right? Stronger together. You see that? Timing, all about timing. Then your voice isn't heard. Then, one voice isn't amplified, 100 is. So so the agenda. So you said we're talking about policies.
Actually, on that point, can I just, if your listeners get one takeaway of this entire conversation, I say this all the time internally, and I think it kind of summarizes what we try to do. If you are not at the table, you are on the menu. Just think about that. If you are not at the table, you are on the menu. And for a number of years, the cleaning industry, they've been making policies in Washington, D.C. and state capitals without our input. And now we finally have a voice. We need to rally around. That's why these types of things are so important, because otherwise we're an afterthought, and they will move forward. They will make policies, whether it's regarding cleaning, disinfecting, whatever it may be. And if we have to have that voice. So that's my one takeaway. If you learn nothing else from this.
That was a soundbite right there. That's why I shut up. I just let you say it. That was so perfect, man. I mean, think about it. We're always, especially, again, it's fragmented, right? We all know this space is very fragmented. The small guy doesn't always have a voice in this space. So I'm happy to see some of the larger companies are creating coalitions and initiatives, and they're teaming up with you guys too. So we need the bigger companies to support this too, but we need the small guy. We need the small business owner to speak up and come to the table, because that is a conversation we have, John. You nailed it. Is, man, Rick, we don't get these large size cleaning contracts. A lot of stuff is around cleaning contracts, right?
Sure. And
it's always about, we don't have a seat at the table, so we can't win the big contracts. Well, it's not just contracts. It's everything else, like you just said, goes into that. How do we buy better? How do we raise the minimum wage, but then be able to charge and pass it on to the client, right? One thing, John, maybe we could talk about this out there, right? Is who got hit the worst, man? Hospitality, right? Restaurants. Mm-hmm. Restaurants got hit hard. And who do we know? Because we're cleaning business people now, so we see it all the time. There's a lot of restaurants that don't have the staff to clean as much as they should properly and budget for that, right? They're a pennies business, just like we are. They should get a credit, right? Restaurant owners should get some kind of credit to say, hey, minimally, you're going to clean your restaurant 3 to 5 days a week, and here's the credit to go ahead and pay for that cleaning service to come, right? You heard it here first. That should be one. But just again, but these are the things, everybody that is listening, that John is going to go and we are, all of us, to go fight for and at least talk about. If it's not talked about, then it's not heard of, and it's unspoken. And like you said, we're going to be left in the dust, man.
On that point, I mean, to carry that home, I mean, so one thing I do as part of ISSA, I lead, co-chair of the Healthy Workplaces Coalition. This is a group of about 60 different companies. It's other trade groups, the National Restaurant Association, Hotel and Lodging Association, the interior designers, interior decorators, architects, everyone who kind of has a role to play in the built environment. We are all talking about kind of how do we maintain healthy spaces moving forward. And a lot of that is, to your point, why aren't there tax credits out there to take advantage of? That's something that we actually did get introduced as legislation. It was bipartisan support. We weren't able to get it over the finish line, but this coalition and the voices that we've heard, those are the ones that can drive those types of policies moving forward. So we're trying to figure out, hey, what does that look like? Whether it's for one segment or all segments. To your point, I think that's critically important, and not in terms of just the health and safety and just the common, like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are working remotely, but there's still value in getting people back to the workplace and built environment, and we need to make sure that we have a system in place or incentivize those best practices that I know your company and many of the companies on here take advantage of. So that is a huge issue that we've talked about for the last couple of years, and we'll continue to push forward, is how do we incentivize healthy and safe workplaces?
Yeah, man, that's exactly it. Like, if we could do something while we're out there in DC, John, like that, because I see it. I have clientele that I know they want the best. They want best practice. They're like, man, I wish we could do more. It's budget. Nobody understands production rate or understands on the client side to the point of, I would love you guys to service 3-4 hours a night, but I can only pay for one. Well, if they got credits or they were incentivized, like you said, to maintain a healthy environment, man, I got to believe we'd be in a much more cleanlier, we would be in cleanly spaces more often than we are now. Not to say we're not, but it is tough for the industry to keep up with the demands, in my opinion. So
that's a huge issue, right? I mean, that's something we'll obviously be talking about. Like you said, there was legislation introduced in the last Congress. We continue to push forward on that. With COVID, whatever you want to say about it, those times of $1 trillion packages with PPP and other sort of tax credits, probably not going to happen anytime soon. But that being said, I think we just need to make the case to those policymakers to make sure that they understand, hey, there's still a need, right? You mentioned hospitality, restaurants, any of those in the space, they're still struggling, right? They're still trying to catch up. So any little amount that we can help get them to reinvest in helping to attract workers, customers, all those types of things. And that's really what we're trying to drive home on Capitol Hill, right? It's big picture. How do we raise the profile of the industry, talk about the importance? And then to your point, it's great to have some of the larger companies. A lot of them already have a presence in DC, but we are the presence for a lot of our smaller, medium-sized members. And really that's those stories. And it's more about stories than anything else, right? Yeah. Talk about, I have a cleaning contractor company. We clean, 10 schools and 5 restaurants in the area. I have 10 employees. Talking about the impacts on different things, whether it was the employee retention tax credit or the PPP loan that helped keep them above water. These are the sort of things that they really do value, and they do make a difference. Yeah, that's what we need more of.
Couldn't agree more. So, John, walk us through day one and day two, if you could. Like day one of what's on the agenda, or what everybody could expect as they come into that National Cleaning Week.
Yeah, and that's kind of the cool part, right? It is part of National Cleaning Week. Last year, I think we had 14 states, Puerto Rico, and the House of Representatives all declared it National Cleaning Week. So we're going to be doing that again this year. And then, so this event, this Clean Advocacy Summit, day one, which is Tuesday, March 28th, it'll be, even if you don't know anything about public policies, if you've never met with your elected official, we're going to basically put you through a full boot camp. We're going to talk about all the major issues. We're going to talk about, what does an economy look forward? We'll probably have an economist who's talking about kind of macro level stuff of what to expect. We'll hear we'll be talking a lot about labor issues, as I mentioned, tariffs and supply chain. So we'll have some speakers on that. And then we'll actually put you through a boot camp. We're going to work everyone through as if you've never met with an elected official. We're going to train you how to, sit down with your office and have an effective meeting with them, how they will remember you. And the next time, and maybe it's not even for the cleaning industry. Maybe you need to go in there and get a passport, expedited for yourself, right? Those are things that I don't think a lot of people understand how much, I don't even want to call it power, but influence and able to, just having that connection with your member of Congress and their office can have huge benefits down the pipeline. So we're going to have a sit down. We're going to train everyone. We're going to put everyone in your state group. So Ricky, you're in Illinois, so you'll be sitting with the Illinois delegation. So you'll know exactly who else is going to be in those meetings, and we'll train you up. We'll explain exactly what's expected and what to look forward to. We'll also,
John, real quick point on that, and I didn't know that, right? This is why I'm holding this, guys, is the fact, because you said it, if you don't know how to approach or have that conversation, you may not be heard, or you may be overlooked, because again, it's politics, it's legislation, it takes a certain way to speak to be heard. So I didn't know that you guys were going to put us through that. Hey, all right.
Yeah. We got to get you guys all trained up. So
okay.
I mentioned, just kind of big picture items. We always do kind of an industry leaders roundtable. So CEOs from smaller, larger companies. Our executive director, John Barrett, kind of just talk about what does the industry from a macro sense, what does that look like moving into 2023? I know we've heard a lot from our members and other companies saying, hey, there's just not as much demand for the cleaning services because there's not as much workers in spaces. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Sustainability, I mentioned, is a huge issue. And then, obviously just talking about other issues related to chemical regulation. So the products that we all have to use, right? Those are all managed and regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency. So there's a big piece of legislation we actually helped write that passed at the end of last year. That's going to have a lot of impact on the cleaning service provider. Phased in over the next 8 years, I believe. They're going to have bilingual labeling is going to be a requirement. So that's just one example on how policies, while, if you're not at that front end, they kind of throw stuff on you that maybe they don't work. So we were able to negotiate and kind of leverage some of that so that they know that especially our smaller members, but all across the supply chain, understand how does one little impact trickle down to the entire industry. So that's just kind of a taste, right? I mean, we have a ton of folks. We'll have obviously members of Congress who come and speak as well, ones that have been very supportive of our industry. So we give out an award for outstanding government service we give one to a Republican and one to a Democrat, right? We are nonpartisan, bipartisan. We are very strong to try to make sure, but highlighting those members of Congress who have actually, stepped up and stood up for the cleaning industry. Yeah,
because I mean, as you're talking, I just feel like you're an extension of us, right? You're an extension of, because we're in the day-to-day hustle. We're building businesses here, right? Where you guys are helping protect us, right? And kind of pave the way to be able to grow and expand and sustain a long-term business. Because that's what we're all in this for, John, there's a lot of family-owned cleaning companies that begin to grow, but there is no next generation if we don't fix now, right? And we don't get ourselves set up. So that's first day. Second day, we're going to the hill. What does the hill look like?
So second day is kind of that's what everyone kind of gets really excited for. So we'll be busting everyone to Capitol Hill. We'll take a really cool shot of the whole group in front of the U.S. Capitol. If you've never been in the U.S. Capitol, it's a beautiful building. It's finally open to the public. It had been closed down basically or very locked down for the last couple of years. So we're really excited. We'll be taking you. We're actually going to be having breakfast in the Capitol. So we'll have a room for us, a beautiful room where we'll be actually, we're not sure if it's going to be like one of the committee rooms, but it'll really kind of give you a feel of like, wow, this is a really cool space to be. So we'll be bringing in members of Congress and others to come speak to the group. And then we're going to release everyone into the Capitol and you'll have your list of meetings. Everyone will be meeting with both their Senate offices and a number of House offices, and And like I said, we'll have team leads, so everyone will know where they're supposed to go, and it'll just be a really cool event and really good opportunity, as I said, to talk about the industry, share your story, because that's what really puts a face to kind of what we talk about, right? I mean, I'm talking to these offices all the time. I could give them all the facts, like, we employ X, millions of people, but it's really when those folks who are in their community, and that's where it's really strong, right? Yeah. Talking to your member in Chicago saying, we employ X many people. We're there. We're helping to protect public health throughout the community. And that's really what drives home the point. And then you connect that, your story to the policy that we're advocating for. And then it's like, it's almost an aha moment. And they understand. They're like, oh, now I get it.
No, it's powerful, man. It really is.
Yep.
You put a face and a story to the policy, right? Now, because then, again, in government and politics, it's a whole other beast. But when they see the emotions or the effect that it has, it's tangible, man. Nothing's more emotional or better for results than like a tangible connection.
And a lot of our issues, I mean, obviously there's the issues if you watch any sort of cable news, and they're the ones that everyone's always talking about. But there are so many things that happen from a regulatory front and a policy front that go under the radar that can have huge impacts on our industry. Could be a tax credit here or there. Those aren't the ones that make the front page of the New York Times, right? No. So I think everyone kind of thinks, hey, we're in this hyper partisan world, which in some respects we are. But the other respect, once you meet with these offices, you get a better sense of, hey, wow, like our voice does matter.
Yeah.
That elected official may have a really strong opinion on something else, but they are looking out for their constituents in a lot of cases, and it's good to connect your businesses, what you're trying to do. The small business is the backbone of the U.S. economy, and without that, and they really love to hear those sort of stories about, hey, we grew from 10 employees to 50 employees to 100 employees, and we're staying in your community. Those are so powerful. And when you say, and by the way, it'd be great if we had this tax credit that could help not us, but our these restaurants, the local Italian restaurant down the street that's been struggling to keep the doors open, and they can barely even pay for the bare minimum of cleaning when they really want to do the right thing and help protect their folks who are coming in. So that's the type of stuff where you connect one dot to another dot, and then you make the ask. You say, it's like anything, always be closing. Well, we'll be doing that same thing where you have to make that ask. If you don't ask for something, you'll never get it, right? In sales. It's the same sort of concept. So you lead them up and you say, can we expect your support on XYZ? And then you just, as in sales, you keep quiet, and you wait for them to respond back to you. It's a lot of overlap, right? And that's why I think this group will be very good to bring to Capitol Hill and really make their voices heard.
Dude, I got goosebumps, man. Like that, hey, we're bringing the people. We got people coming, John. So that's going to be exciting, man. Like, and again, everybody. So as we wrap up, like, this is why I wanted to bring John on, because there's no way I could have explained what the hell is going to be happening at Cleaning Advocacy Summit the way you just did. So I want to thank you for your time on sharing all that info. You guys, you know how we do it. In the YouTube link in the description, John, let's inundate everybody with all these bullet points and subjects to describe exactly what's going to be happening. Now you guys put a face to John's name. I know you may have seen it here and there. But John, I hope you're okay with people that may directly message you. They may want to know some more of what's going on. But man, I'm super excited, guys. So you heard what we're doing the 28th and the 29th. The 29th, that evening, we'll be holding our welcome reception. So everybody from the ISSA is also going to be coming over to our place at the Eaton Hotel. And we're going to have some drinks, some cocktails, get vulnerable, break everybody down, have some fun. And then the next day, another workshop. So you guys have a couple of days of workshops, totally different from one another. But again, touching on things that you're probably normally not doing when you're at the office or back with your team, because we were trying to do so much other things. So it's going to be exciting. John, I appreciate you coming on board. Thank you guys for inviting me to team up with you guys. And I'm looking forward to it. Again, it's March 28th to March 30th, you guys. The ISSA event with the Cleaning and Cocktails event. John, is there anything else you want to leave anybody with?
No, just looking forward to meeting everyone. I'm excited to stay over for your event. I've heard so many great things, and we had so many people who attended our event that were then, I think, the next week coming to Chicago for your event. So it just made a lot of sense, and I'm really excited and just to interact with our members in the cleaning industry and hear how you're trying to hustle and grow your business. So thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. And yeah, feel free. Any questions anyone has on anything, reach out.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, John, again. You guys, thank you for tuning in on Cleaning and Cocktails. Thank you so much, and cheers. Cheers to another one, guys. Talk to you and see you all soon.